Would you buy a luxury SUV that's being called the future? Before knowing what the headlines leave out, the all-new Zeekr 9X is making some extraordinary promises. Nearly 400 horsepower, a next-generation 900-volt electrical system, ultra-fast charging, advanced AI technology, and enough luxury to challenge some of the biggest names in the industry. On paper, it sounds almost unbeatable, but here's what nobody should ignore. What if those incredible range figures don't reflect what most drivers will actually experience? What if those lightning-fast charging times only happen under conditions that everyday owners rarely see? And what if the biggest question surrounding the Zeekr 9X isn't about its performance? It's about whether it's actually worth trusting with your money. If you're even thinking about buying this SUV, don't make up your mind just yet, because over the next few minutes, we're going to investigate every major claim Zeekr is making. We'll examine the battery technology. We'll break down the real meaning behind the advertised range. We'll explain what the charging numbers actually represent. We'll uncover the ownership considerations that glossy brochures rarely explain. And before this video ends, you'll know whether the Zeekr 9X truly deserves the hype, or whether there are trade-offs every serious buyer should understand before signing a purchase agreement. Welcome to Car Matrix. This isn't another channel that reads spec sheets or repeats press releases. We investigate vehicles the same way a careful buyer would. We verify manufacturer claims. We separate engineering from marketing. And we focus on one question above all else. Would we trust this vehicle with our own money? So let's start with the part of the Zeekr 9X that every other impressive specification depends on: the battery. This SUV is built around Zeekr's latest high-voltage platform and a sophisticated electrified powertrain designed to deliver exceptional performance, rapid charging, and long-distance capability. Those are impressive engineering goals, but impressive goals don't always translate into impressive ownership. And that's exactly where smart buyers need to slow down, because one of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that every published range figure, every charging number, and every performance claim represents what they'll experience in everyday driving. It doesn't always work that way. So before we look at horsepower, before we talk about acceleration, before we decide whether this is a true Tesla challenger, there's one question we have to answer first. How much of what you've heard about the Zeekr 9X is engineering reality, and how much is marketing optimism? Let's find out. So, let's answer the first question every serious buyer should ask. Is the Zeekr 9X's battery really as impressive as the company wants you to believe? The short answer is, it certainly looks promising, but the complete answer is far more interesting. At the heart of the Zeekr 9X is a next-generation electrified powertrain built around a 900-volt high-voltage architecture. From an engineering standpoint, that's a significant step forward because higher voltage systems can improve charging efficiency, reduce heat, and deliver stronger performance when paired with the right hardware. On paper, that's exactly what every luxury EV buyer wants. But here's the part that deserves a closer look. A great charging system is only as good as the conditions surrounding it. You've probably seen headlines claiming incredibly fast charging times. Technically, those numbers come from controlled testing under ideal conditions. In the real world, charging speed depends on several factors that buyers rarely think about until they actually own the vehicle. Is the battery already warm enough? How powerful is the charger you're plugged into? How full is the battery when you arrive? What's the outside temperature? Even small differences in these conditions can affect the charging experience. That doesn't mean Zeekr's claims are false. It means those headline figures represent the best-case scenario, not necessarily what every owner will see every day. Now let's talk about another number that gets even more attention: driving range. This is where many buyers accidentally compare two completely different standards. The range figures currently published for the Zeekr 9X are based on the CLTC testing cycle, which is officially used in China. It's a legitimate certification method, but it's generally more optimistic than the EPA testing standard used in the United States. That's why looking at a single range number without understanding the testing method can create unrealistic expectations. And if you're shopping in the US, that's an important distinction, because your daily commute, highway speeds, weather conditions, wheel size, passenger load, and even your driving style can all influence how much range you actually see. But the battery isn't the only thing buyers should pay attention to. A luxury SUV can have impressive specifications and still disappoint if the software experience isn't polished, if the driver assistance systems aren't intuitive, or if everyday ownership becomes more frustrating than expected. And that's exactly where our investigation goes next. Because horsepower and charging numbers might get all the headlines, but they may not be the deciding factor when it comes to living with the Zeekr 9X every single day. So, after looking beyond the headlines, is the Zeekr 9X actually worth buying? The honest answer is, it depends on what you're expecting. If you're looking for a luxury SUV loaded with cutting-edge technology, breathtaking performance, a premium interior, and some of the most advanced engineering to come out of China, the Zeekr 9X is clearly one of the most exciting vehicles we've seen in recent years. On paper, it has all the ingredients to compete with established luxury brands. But smart buyers don't purchase vehicles on paper. They purchase them for real life. And real life asks very different questions. How reliable will the software be after 2 or 3 years? Will over-the-air updates continue improving the vehicle, or will development slow down? If something breaks, how quickly can it be repaired? How strong is the service and support network in your market? Will replacement parts be easy to find? And perhaps the biggest question of all, would you still feel confident owning this SUV 5 years from now, not just 5 days after taking delivery? Those are the questions that separate an exciting launch from a satisfying ownership experience. The truth is, many buyers become so focused on horsepower, giant displays, and acceleration figures that they forget to evaluate the things they'll actually live with every single day. Ride comfort, software stability, charging convenience, build quality, customer support, long-term ownership costs. That's where the real value of any luxury SUV is decided. So what have we learned? The Zeekr 9X appears to be a genuinely ambitious luxury SUV with impressive engineering, advanced technology, and the potential to challenge well-known competitors. But like any new flagship vehicle, its biggest claims deserve to be viewed with context rather than excitement alone. High charging speeds depend on compatible infrastructure and favorable conditions. Published range figures are based on official testing procedures that don't always match everyday driving. And the complete ownership experience will depend on factors that only become clear over time. None of these are reasons to dismiss the Zeekr 9X. They're reasons to investigate it carefully before making a major financial decision. And that's exactly what we've tried to do today. Not to convince you to buy it, not to convince you to avoid it, but to help you separate verified facts from marketing promises, understand the engineering behind the specifications, and make a decision with confidence instead of assumptions. Because at Car Matrix, we believe the best car review isn't the one with the most hype. It's the one that leaves you better informed than when you clicked on the video. Now it's your turn. If the Zeekr 9X were available in your market today, would you choose it over the Tesla Model X, BMW iX, Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, or Range Rover? Or would you wait until more real-world ownership data becomes available? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more investigations that go beyond the brochure and uncover what buyers actually need to know, subscribe to Car Matrix. Because our next investigation might just save you from making an expensive mistake.